It's big, it's loud, and it eats AV receivers for breakfast. No, I'm not talking about me. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I am talking about the Dragon surround sound system by Nakamichi. This thing really needs to be experienced. They have a lot of firsts, and let's get into some of it right now. First things first, let's say big shout out to Nakamichi for having us swing by. And when I say us, I mean myself and Elon Osborne. Big up to Elon Osborne. So thanks, Elon, for helping me out. And if you guys want to see all kinds of detailed information about the Dragon, make sure you check out his video. It was released a couple days ago, and it's very in-depth. I'm not going to go into all of that stuff. I'm mainly going to talk about my experience. So let's talk about the demo. This thing is loud. Got deep bass, it's loud, it's impactful. And we were just in a suite at the Bellagio, untreated room. It had like an open section on the right, all kinds of windows on the left. They did have drapes, so at least the drapes were pulled. They did not run the room correction, so it's pretty much like if you had taken it out of the box and set it up. And setup is pretty easy because the subwoofers are wireless. The rear surrounds are also wireless. So for those of you wanting like a 15-minute style setup, hey, you should definitely check this out. So it's loud, okay? It's loud. And one of the things that I noticed is that I couldn't really figure out what's going on above us. They were playing clips from movies from the Dolby Atmos demo disc from 2016. And some of them are kind of like, you can kind of hear a little bit, but it's so fast. So I had him play the Audiosphere demo, which is one of my favorite demos on the 2016 disc. I've heard it plenty of times in my system, so I know exactly what's going to happen. And as soon as the little diamonds appeared up in the sky, or up in the air, it was actually really, really good. The height effects were spot on from my system that I have, speakers mounted on the ceiling. Of course, it uses the Atmos bounce, right? There are 4 Atmos upfiring in the front bar, and then there's one each in each surround. Now, the ones in the surrounds are kind of interesting because the one issue that surround speakers have that have upfiring in them is that you can't aim the upfiring, so you have to kind of position the speaker a certain way so that it fires up and then, down on top of your head or whatever. And what they did was they added a swivel for the upward firing speaker in the surround. So it can swivel around 180 degrees. So you can kind of get a custom fit with your ceiling bounce from the rear speakers. So the height effects on a flat ceiling like we had in that suite, it felt like I had speakers up on the ceiling, which was really cool. So definitely it is working in that aspect, and it's leaps and bounds above your average soundbar. Another thing that sets it apart is that they use AMT tweeters, 7 of them in the soundbar. You can see 3 up front, and then there's 2 in each surround speaker. The surround speakers are set up in a bipole configuration. They call it the OmniMotion wireless surrounds. They look like bipole speakers with a little upward firing swivel speaker at the top, which is pretty cool. In total, the system has 31 speaker drivers and 15 internal digital amplifiers, and DTS:X Pro. DTS:X Pro? You ever seen that in a soundbar? No. You have to get the Denon X6700H to have DTS:X Pro. So you can kind of tell that it's on another level. Now, another thing that we found out that I thought was really interesting is that soundbars, the average soundbar, has a different version of Dolby Atmos. That encoder is not the same as the encoder in the AV receivers. However, after Raymond just bugging the crap out of Dolby, they went ahead and gave them the ability to use the Dolby Atmos that you'll find in an AV receiver. So again, we're getting to another level of a soundbar, right? Of course, the thing is huge. Yes, it does look like a soundbar, but man, it is huge. I think he said he had an 85-inch TV, and it spanned pretty much the length of that. So if you're thinking about checking this out, make sure you have enough room. I don't even think I have enough room for this thing. I'll have to make something up. as far as how I can test this whenever they do send review units. Now, there is another cool feature if you just like to listen to 2-channel music and not have the surround on, and the soundbar kind of splits in two, and all the drivers on the left will be for the left speaker and all the drivers on the right would be for the right speaker. So that's a very interesting way to kind of configure it. And just like AV receivers, you have more flexibility with the Dragon. Here's a little shot of the distances that are on screen. So this is kind of blurring the lines between the soundbar and AV receiver. I know the phrase game changer is used a whole lot, and yeah, CES is all about hype, but the thing is, this thing is actually very, very cool. It sounds great, and I wonder what it's going to sound like in my home. This could be a great solution for a lot of you out there, so I'm excited to get it in and try it out myself. There's some links down in the description. Don't forget to check out Elon's video because he's got a lot more detail, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
The press is really not as close to the consumer as you guys are.
Okay.
Right?
That's,
They're
no, that's
kind of
fair.
sitting at,
That's
a,
fair,
at
yeah.
a tower somewhere, Eiffel Tower. And so I am really, really interested in hearing your feedback